What is a group? In sociology, there is no universally accepted definition of what a group is. And that's because there's so many groups and sociologists attach different meanings to them. The social fabric of modern societies is composed of millions of groups. But in our lesson, we're going to focus on social groups. These are those in which two or more people identify and interact with one another. So it is a consciousness of joint interaction. There are many types of groups. Primary groups are the most important in shaping the human personality. In primary groups, such as the family, clique, or set of close friends, the social relationships tend to be informal and relaxed. The members are interested in one another's persons, they confide in one another, share experiences, and feel the need for intimate human companionship. So members in primary groups share personal and enduring relationships. A secondary group is a group whose members interact in an impersonal manner. They have few emotional ties and they come together for a specific purpose. Within most secondary groups, you can find a number of primary groups based on regular interaction and friendship. So primary groups tend to be relationship or person-oriented, and secondary groups are goal-oriented. They're devoted to some specific interest or activity. Reference groups are groups that are important to us as models, even though we ourselves may not be a part of the group. For example, those who aspire to become a police officer or gang member would use those groups of people who are already police officers or members of a gang as reference groups. So they serve as a point of reference for people making evaluations or decisions. It was George Simmel that looked at the basic principles of group structure and size. And we're not going to get into how many people that you can have or how many relationships you can have with X amount of people. In figure 5.2, you do see with two people, there's one relationship, three people, there's three relationships, four people, six relationships, five people, 10 relationships, six people, 15 relationships, and with seven people, you can have as many as 21 relationships. But you do need to know the difference between a dyad and a triad. The smallest group is called a dyad. It consists of two people. They are the most unstable of all social groups. Now, I want you to think about that for just a minute because some of the strongest social bonds are formed between two people, whether it's best friends, lovers, married couples, whatever. The reason why it is the most unstable because if one withdraws, the group collapses. One person can't be a group. With the addition of a third person, the dyad becomes a triad, and the interactions change drastically. If one person drops out, the group will still survive. However, triads are also unstable. Think of the ways with the introduction of a third person, how it frequently causes problems. If you've ever watched three friends playing, it's like one always gets left out. For some reason, children think they can't have but one friend at a time. Certainly you've heard the saying, two's company, three's a crowd. Third child always have a tough time. The general principle is that as a small group grows larger, its intensity or its intimacy is going to decrease while its stability increases. There are two types of group leadership. There's instrumental leadership, which emphasizes the completion of tasks. These are the people that make plans, give orders, they get things done. The expressive leadership emphasizes collective well-being. They're more likely to use humor to raise group morale. They want to minimize tension and conflict among its members. And there are three different types of leadership styles. We've got the authoritarian leadership, which focuses on instrumental concerns. They take personal charge of decision making. They demand strict compliance from their subordinates. These are those that you probably don't like to work with, but you can certainly appreciate them in a time of crisis. The democratic leadership is more expressive, and they try to include everyone in the decision-making process. Then we have laissez-faire leadership, which allows the group to function more or less on its own. Out of the three, the least effective in promoting group goals is laissez-faire. A formal organization is a large secondary group that's organized to achieve goals efficiently. There are three types of formal organizations. We have the utilitarian organization, which people join in pursuit of material rewards. For example, the bureaucracy or any place that you work to make a living. You've got to work for an income. The normative organizations are voluntary associations, and people join these because they pursue the same goals that each other considers morally worthwhile. In the United States, there are so many voluntary associations that we're actually known as a nation of joiners. Just to name a few, we've got the PTA, the Red Cross, United Way, YMCA, church, and of course we can go on and on and on with different types of normative organizations. The coercive organization is distinguished by involuntary membership as a form of punishment. In other words, you're forced to join, or treatment. For example, prison, psychiatric hospitals, drug rehabilitation, mental hospitals, and of course we can move on with that as well.